Whenever there's a list for the best James Bond films, uh, Goldfinger almost always ends up number one. And I can't argue with it because I think it is. Now, it has its spot as one of the original films, and it's only the third one, and third time's the charm. But it's like everything comes together in it. Uh, uh, Connor had already mastered the role ahead of this, but he's of course in full form here, and all the elements are in place. He had to go, he went through Doctor No and then From Russia with Love, and actually rewatching those, I kind of thought maybe Doctor No was the better of those two. But all the gadgets, the funny names, and of course the music. The music has hit the heights that James Bond music is known for. And I don't just mean the theme song, which is powerful enough and great, but Barry's musical scores. And you're seeing it develop as you go forward. And certainly with Promotion with Love, you get the ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-dum. And that sort of thing. But here in Goldfinger, it's just, man, is it really powerful and perfect, and it's throughout the film, and it works so very well. And it's almost as if, yeah, I know I'm the best there is within the film. So there's, of course, the plot, as crazy as it is, makes a sort of sense to it, even though it's mad. He's just going to irradiate Fort Knox. Even Bond, is just, because the whole thing is that you're going to try to rob this? That's stupid. And then, you're going to irradiate it. So that his holdings become the most, and so it all works out. Colorful villains within a, odd job and whatnot. And then, of course, Pussy Galore, best name, and her girls and all that sort of thing. Filters through it. It's got all those great characteristics that a Bond film should be, and it all comes together there. And others would follow, but boy, they never really hit it on all cylinders the way this one did. I guess the only drawback to it, I'm sure there's others that I might be forgetting at the moment, but the most striking visual, of course, was the poor girl who is murdered by being completely covered in gold paint after she humiliated Goldfinger himself, where Bond gets the drop on him without thinking what the consequences would be. For whatever reason, once again, the villain opts not to kill Bond, which is what he should have done. He kills the girl who betrayed him. So, but the thing about it is that later on, her sister goes seeking revenge. The actress playing the sister is just not ready for prime time. Oddly enough, it's brief scenes, but it's the girl who dies under the gold paint seemed to act better. So maybe they should have swapped them. I don't know. But anyway, of course, it's a cool, striking imagery of it, and later more repeated in what was it, Quantum of Solace, with the oil and all that sort of thing. But here, this is much better, and also a strike at Bond, what he's dealing with. Goldfinger is a formidable villain, even though one of his big weaknesses is his own arrogance and his attitude, in that he's so damn insecure. The slightest thing, even when he's losing the golf game, because he cheats at everything, he can't stand to lose, and and Bond keeps messing with him because he suspects, and ultimately he's right, that if he gets him off his game, he can beat him. Even though there are several times, this is one of the failings of all Bond films and all superhero films, and it's like the villain has every opportunity to just kill him, and keeps missing it. But the most famous scene, which works out because he almost does it, is of course the laser cutting through the table right between Bond's legs, and of course, do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. And of course, it's classic and all that. And then finally, because he overheard the plot, you know, the name of it, and he, you know, so that works out because then Goldfinger's like, ah, damn it, I better find out what he knows. So there you go. It's every time there's like something that's so when I'm doing one of these reviews and whatnot, and it's so good and everything works just right, they end up being very short. Because this is one of those. It's just great. Of course, I talked about the flaws of the actress who just wasn't up to the game. But she wasn't the main girl of the movie. Of course, Honor Blackman was as Pussy Galore. And as I understand it, I did not read the original story, but I had heard that apparently Pussy Galore was a lesbian. But Bond was so cool, she couldn't help herself. She is rather cold to him in this film, but there's no real indication that even though she has all her pretty girls in her flight squadron. But that's not really indicative by the film. So, and I think that's probably for the best because it's a bit more believable that she might be interested in Bond. And of course, she is throughout. So, it's interesting to go through the henchman, of course, Odd Job, and you'll see other characters try to match that. But the only thing he fears is his own deadly hat. And we should have thought about electricity, though. So, God, it just all works out. It's so good. The only real plot hole is that there may not really be that much gold in there. Well, that's another story. Trying to remember exactly. I don't think this one counts as a Spectre film because I don't think it was obvious that Goldfinger was involved with that. It was soon to be the players that were, and obviously the Russians and Chinese being interested in toppling the American economy and that sort of thing. But with him, suddenly emerging as the savior because he would have the holdings. But anyway, yeah, and Goldfinger is one of these villains that they'll come out. Because it's like he's the opposite of Bond. He's ugly, and he's not as secure in himself, and all that sort of. But both men are extremely dangerous, and so there it is. And then the kind of pathetic way he tries to get out of it at the end, and just decides he's going to kill Bond, but gets sucked out the hole in the plane. A fitting end for that asshole. So, yes, Goldfinger, I do agree with, I guess, the conventional wisdom, as it were, over Bond films, that this is the one. And I think primarily because it's like it came together at that moment, and this is the real metric and standard by which all other Bond films would follow. And that the shadow, of course, the shadow of Connery still to this day lingers long over the franchise, but particularly this film. So there you go. If you want to understand James Bond, just watch Goldfinger and you'll get it. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.